Imagine this. Springfield, Missouri, June 1992. 3 women, a mother, her daughter's friend, they just disappear from a quiet house.
Yeah, no forced entry, no obvious struggle, nothing.
It's gone. An official even said it was like they'd been, quote, raptured. Just unbelievable. And here we are over 30 years later, still one of America's most baffling cold cases. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into the sources so you don't have to, bringing you the key insights.
And today we're tackling the Springfield Three. That's Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall.
Our mission, to give you the essential info, a shortcut to really understanding this whole persistent mystery. We'll go through the timeline, look at the really weird details, the theories.
And the questions. So many questions that still hang over this case.
It's a case that really makes you question things. How can 3 people just vanish like that?
Exactly. The total lack of any physical trace, especially with 3 adults involved, is what's so deeply unsettling. It's why people are still talking about it, still trying to figure it out.
That's a really key point. So to understand the mystery, we need to rewind. Back to that night, June 6, 1992. Can you set the scene for us? What were they doing?
Absolutely. Okay, so picture Springfield, Missouri. It's graduation day for Suzie Streeter, who's 19, and her friend Stacy McCall, 18. They just graduated from Kickapoo High School.
Big day for them, the start of everything.
Totally. They were, buzzing, excited about the future, celebrating.
And doing what graduates do, partying.
Pretty much. They spent the evening party hopping, hitting different graduation parties around Springfield, and also in Battlefield, which is nearby.
Okay.
Now, the original plan was pretty ambitious. They wanted to drive about 45 minutes south to Branson after the parties, go to the Whitewater Amusement Park.
Sounds like fun, but also a long night after partying.
Yeah, maybe a bit much.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the plan changed. Around 10:30 p.m., Stacy called her mom, Janice.
Right.
Told her Branson was off. They decided instead they'd stay the night at their friend Janelle Kirby's house.
Makes sense. Safer.
So they kept celebrating. They ended up at a party at Michelle Elder's house. But that party got broken up by the police around 1:40 a.m. Noise complaint, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so party's over. Time to head to Janelle's.
That was the idea. It was about a 10-minute drive. But when they got to Janelle's,
Problem.
yeah, it was packed. Janelle had family visiting from out of town, just no room for Suzie and Stacy to crash comfortably.
Okay, so now what? It's late.
Very late. It's 2:00 a.m. So they tell Janelle, okay, we're just going to go back to Suzie's house. That's 1717 East Delmar Street. Apparently, Suzie was excited to show Stacy her new king-size waterbed.
A waterbed. Wow, okay.
Yeah, Janelle's mom, Kathy, she actually overheard Suzie telling Stacy, follow me to my house. Like they were driving separately.
Interesting detail. And wasn't there some sighting later, around 2:30 a.m.?
There was, yeah. An unconfirmed sighting on Battlefield Road, which is about 10 minutes from Suzie's place. But like you said, unconfirmed. Some sources doubt it because, well, they just said they're going straight home. Doesn't quite track.
Right, adds another layer of uncertainty. Meanwhile, back at the house on Delmar Street, Suzie's mom, Sherrill Levitt, she was home alone.
Yes. Sherrill, who was 47, had a quiet evening. She was apparently refinishing a dresser in her bedroom.
Okay.
The last time anyone heard from her was around 11:15 p.m. She was on the phone with a friend talking about painting an armoire, varnish and stuff.
And this is really important, isn't it? Sherrill wasn't expecting the girls.
Exactly. She thought they were staying at Janelle's. So when Suzie and Stacy likely arrived, probably sometime between, say, 2:15 and 2:30 a.m. on June 7th.
Sherrill would have been surprised. Maybe asleep already.
Most likely asleep, yes. An unexpected arrival. And that immediately makes you wonder, what happened when they got there? Who else might have been there? Did their arrival interrupt something?
Okay, so let's jump to the next morning, June 7th. Friends start getting worried.
Right. Around 9:00 a.m., Janelle Kirby and her boyfriend Mike Henson, they drive over to Suzie's house. They've been trying to call. No answer.
And Nigel Kenny, another friend, he showed up too.
Yeah, Nigel was Suzie's close friend. He was expecting to meet up with them, maybe go to that amusement park after all. But nothing.
What did they find when they arrived at the house?
First thing they noticed, something was off. Suzie's car, it was a red Ford Escort GT, apparently had a sweeter license plate. It wasn't parked in the carport where she usually put it.
Where was it?
It was parked out on the street. Now that might seem small, but in cases like this, it's a flag. Could mean another car was already in the carport, maybe someone else was there.
Or maybe nothing, but it's odd. What else?
The front door was unlocked.
Unlocked, okay.
And then, the really weird thing right at the entrance. the glass globe covering the porch light. It was shattered. Broken glass on the porch.
But the light bulb itself.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
Intact. Just the globe was smashed.
Strange.
And Mike, Janelle's boyfriend, he saw Janelle was barefoot and worried she'd step on the glass. So he swept it up.
Trying to be helpful, but...
Exactly. Police later said that might have destroyed evidence. Fingerprints, maybe fiber, who knows. But you can't blame him, right? They weren't thinking crime scene.
No, of course not. Just looking for their friends. It's a tough lesson, though, about how easily crucial evidence can disappear right at the start, especially when foul play isn't the first thought.
It really is. A reminder of the challenges in those first few hours.
So they go inside the house. It's quiet.
It's silent. No sign of Sherrill, Suzie, or Stacy. But someone was there.
Ooh.
Cinnamon, Suzie, and Sherrill's little Yorkshire Terrier. And the dog was apparently agitated, barking, wanted to be held. Freaked out.
Okay, distressed pet. Could mean something. Could just be a Yorkie being a Yorkie, as one source noted. They can be high-strung.
True. But it adds to the overall unsettling atmosphere. And then, here's where it gets really interesting. What they found left behind.
Go on.
All 3 women's purses. Lined up together.
Yeah.
In Susie's bedroom.
All 3, including Sherrill's and Stacy's.
Yep. And get this. Sherrill's purse still had cash in it. Almost $900. That's like, what, over $1,600 today?
Wow. So robbery wasn't the motive.
Doesn't look like it. That detail, the purses lined up, the cash untouched, it screams something personal, something targeted, not just a random break-in.
What else did they find?
Stacy's clothes from the night before were there, folded neatly, but her T-shirt and underwear were gone.
Okay.
They also found used makeup wipes, jewelry, keys, the everyday stuff. And this is a big one for the family. Suzie and Sherrill were both chain smokers.
Right.
Their cigarettes and lighters were left behind. Family said Sherrill never went anywhere without her cigarettes. Highly unusual for her. There was even an unfinished can of Coke near Susie's cigarettes.
It's like they were interrupted mid-action.
Exactly. Sherrill's bed looked like it had been slept in. And there was a book on her headboard, Oh, the Places You'll Go, by Dr. Seuss, funnily enough.
Yeah.
It was turned over, like she'd put it down, planning to pick it right back up. All the lights in the house were off. But the TV in Susie's room was on, just showing static. Snow.
So someone had been watching TV and just left it on? It paints such a picture of normal life just stopping. Abruptly.
Precisely. The sheer normalcy of what remained makes the absence of the women even more jarring. What could possibly interrupt things so completely?
And the weirdness didn't stop with the physical clues. There were phone calls that day too, right? Really disturbing ones.
Yeah, this adds another chilling layer. While Janelle and Mike were still in the house, the landline rang.
Okay.
Janelle answered it. It was some guy, an unidentified male voice, making what she described as lewd and obscene comments. Sick stuff. She hung up.
And it rang again.
It did, same thing. She hung up again. Apparently, Suzie could complain about getting prank calls like that before, since they moved in. So maybe it was just that.
Or maybe connected. The timing is creepy.
Incredibly creepy. And it didn't end there. Later that day, Stacy's mom, Janice McCall, she goes to the house. She'd been trying to reach Stacy all day, no luck. This is now maybe 7:00 p.m.
And she gets a call too.
She does. Another call, again described as a crank call, with sexual innuendos.
Unbelievable. But there was something else too, something Janice found.
Yes, and this is just tragic from an investigative standpoint. Janice checked the answering machine. There was a message on it. She described it as strange. But somehow, while trying to listen to it or replay it, she accidentally erased it.
Oh, God, permanently.
Permanently. Police were, as you can imagine, extremely interested in that message. They felt it might have held a real clue, and they didn't think it was related to those obscene prank calls.
So a potentially vital piece of evidence
Yeah.
just gone, wiped clean.
Lost forever. An immeasurable blow, really. You can't even imagine how Janice must have felt realizing that later.
So after finding the house empty, getting these calls, finding the message gone, Janice McCall is the one who finally contacts the police.
That's right. She called the Springfield Police Department to report all 3 women missing. But think about the timeline. This is over 16 hours after they were last potentially seen.
16 hours. And in that time...
In that time, friends and family had been in and out. Police later estimated maybe 10, even 20 people had been through the house.
Doing what?
Well-meaning things, mostly. Tidying up, emptying ashtrays someone might have used, cleaning coffee cups, sweeping that broken glass.
Contaminating the scene.
Massively.
Yeah.
By the time police officially started their investigation, the crime scene was severely compromised. And remember, other than that broken porch light globe, there were no signs of forced entry. No obvious signs of a struggle inside.
It's just a nightmare scenario for investigators. So much potentially lost in those crucial early hours.
It really underscores the difficulty, especially back then, before crime scene processing was maybe as standardized, and certainly before the instant communication we have now.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly bizarre scene. Missing women, weird calls, a lost message, a compromised scene. It leaves us with huge, gaping questions. Let's move into the theories now. What are people thinking happened here? How do three adults just vanish?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
The fact that there's been no trace, no bodies, no definitive sightings, nothing solid in over 30 years is staggering. It feeds the idea that they just evaporated.
And the lack of a struggle is key. How do you subdue three people without a major fight, without neighbors hearing something?
Well, one theory is that a weapon was involved, holding one person hostage, maybe threatening Suzie to make Sherrill comply, or threatening Stacy to make Suzie comply. That kind of psychological control.
A mother protecting her daughter or friends protecting each other? Yeah, that makes horrible sense.
Or perhaps they were coerced into leaving with the person, maybe under the belief that if they just cooperated, they'd ultimately be safe. A sadly common tactic.
The clues themselves are so ambiguous, too. That porch light.
Right. What was that about? Was it broken deliberately to lure someone outside? Did it happen during a struggle near the door? Was it an attempt to make the entrance dark?
Or just random. A cheap fixture, loose screws. Maybe someone dropped a hidden key trying to get it.
And to make it even more confusing, there's apparently a photo of the house taken before the disappearance that shows the light fixture without a globe on it already.
Seriously. So the broken glass might be totally unrelated or from an older incident.
It just makes that clue, which seems so specific, incredibly murky. And we already talked about the purses and the money.
Yeah. Untouched. Suggests it wasn't about robbery. Points to something else. More personal, maybe.
Definitely. And the phone calls. Were they the perpetrator watching the house, taunting them? The timing with Janelle and Janice being there is just so suspicious.
Or were they just awful prank calls, like Suzie had gotten before? A terrible coincidence in the pre-caller ID days.
It's possible. Police apparently did look into a known local prank caller back then and ruled him out for the disappearance itself. But the timing, it still feels significant somehow. You can't easily dismiss it.
And that scene contamination you mentioned earlier just hangs over everything.
Mm-hmm.
What might have been found if those first hours had been different?
It's the ultimate what if of this case. Footprints, fingerprints, fibers, DNA traces that weren't possible to collect back then. We'll just never know what was lost.
Okay, let's talk suspects. Over 3 decades, names must have come up. Who have police looked at? We should be clear, we're just reporting the speculation here.
Right. One name that frequently surfaces is Robert Craig Cox. He's a suspected serial killer.
Okay. What's the connection?
He apparently made comments suggesting he knew the women were dead, knew they were buried near Springfield. He definitely had ties to the area around that time. But his usual method, his MO, was often different. He typically targeted single victims, often near their cars. Abducting 3 women from inside a house doesn't quite fit his pattern. Plus, he was known for liking attention, maybe making false claims.
So, possible, but maybe not probable. Who else?
Another name is Larry Dwayne Hall, also a suspected serial killer.
What about him?
Hall was known to abduct multiple victims sometimes, and he was active in the Midwest, often around Civil War reenactments. There just happened to be Civil War reenactments near Springfield the very weekend the women disappeared. And Hall's terrifying signature was often leaving absolutely no trace of his victims. That part aligns chillingly well with this case.
That is unsettling. Any other specific names?
Yeah, police also seriously investigated. Gerald Carnahan, he's a convicted murderer and rapist, had ties to a motorcycle gang. And other man, Stephen Garrison, also a convicted rapist. Police apparently found information Garrison provided about the case to be credible.
Credible, but it didn't break the case.
Apparently not, or not enough to lead to charges or recovery. Both Carnahan and Garrison are in prison for other crimes. Beyond these known offenders, there's also the broader acquaintance theory.
Okay, let's unpack that. What does that mean?
It means considering someone known, however loosely, to one of the women. Maybe someone they met at one of the graduation parties that night, someone who followed them home, or maybe had some kind of prior obsession.
And that detail about Susie's car being on the street.
Exactly. Could that mean someone they knew was already there, maybe parked in the carport? It opens up a whole range of possibilities.
Like who?
Could be anyone, really. You hear speculation about, a creepy uncle type or a family friend who was in town for graduation, maybe someone Sherrill knew, secretly a boyfriend, maybe even a client, if she had some kind of side business, who expected her to be alone.
And there's even a theory about the house itself.
Yeah, the house was relatively new to them, apparently bought out of foreclosure, so maybe someone connected to the previous owners.
Yeah.
Or someone who did work on the house. Maybe they knew the layout, saw an opportunity when the girls unexpectedly showed up. It's speculative, of course, but plausible.
So many potential avenues, but none leading anywhere concrete. And we should probably mention the parking garage rumor briefly.
Oh, right. The Cox Hospital South parking garage. Back in 2008, there was a story about ground-penetrating radar finding 3 anomalies under the concrete, possibly consistent with grave sites.
But nothing came of it.
No excavation. It's largely considered more of an urban legend now, possibly stemming from a psychic's vision rather than solid evidence. But it shows how desperate people are for any kind of lead, any answer.
Absolutely. And that desperation, that lack of answers, it takes a huge toll on the families. Janice McCall, Stacy's mom, said something so heartbreaking.
Yeah, she said, we really can't have a celebration of anything because we don't know what happened. It just puts their lives on hold indefinitely.
What does that kind of limbo do to a family?
It's just constant agony. Stacy's dad, Stu, he said something like, I may be crazy, but I'd rather have hope than not have any hope at all and give up. They declared Sherrill and Suzanne legally dead back in 1997, but the missing persons case is still wide open. There's no closure, no funeral, no grave, just waiting. It's a unique, devastating kind of grief.
So after all this time, all the investigation, the Springfield Three remains one of Missouri's most famous, most frustrating cold cases. Over 5,000 tips, searches in dozens of states.
And absolutely nothing definitive. Every lead seems to hit a dead end. It's truly baffling.
Before we wrap up, you wanted to mention a resource.
Yes, definitely. For anyone listening who might be interested in other missing persons cases or knows someone who is missing or even just wants the help, there's NAMUS, N-A-M-U-S, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System.
Okay, what is NAMUS?
It's a really vital national resource that offers technology, free forensic services, things like DNA testing, dental record comparison, fingerprint analysis, and investigative support. It helps resolve missing and unidentified person cases all across the country.
How does it work?
It basically helps connect families with law enforcement, provides tools for people to input case information, search databases. It's a really important system for trying to bring answers to families who are in that awful limbo we just talked about, a way to centralize information and resources.
That sounds incredibly valuable, a really important resource to know about.
It really is,
Yeah.
making a tangible difference in many cases.
Okay, so as we finish this deep dive, here's something to think about. This happened in 1992. Before everyone carried a GPS tracker and camera in their pocket, before digital footprints documented our every move. Communication was slower, tracking people much harder.
A completely different world in terms of investigation.
So, consider this. How many other personal mysteries, maybe similar to the Springfield Three, just disappeared into the ether back then, became these permanent shadows simply because crucial details, tiny clues, were lost, never recorded, or couldn't be shared quickly? What kind of fundamental shift has modern technology actually brought to solving these cases? And maybe more importantly, what kinds of mysteries might still be slipping through the cracks, even today? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the enduring, chilling mystery of the Springfield Three. We hope this gave you a clearer picture of this complex and heartbreaking case.